welcome to the Changes TV. And today, for this program, my name is Jessica Mensa. I'm a student at Brand High, and I'm in Form 1 Science class. The title of our program today is My Career, My Life. My career, my life is basically about myself. So you're going to know about the career I'm going to choose and the career I'm aspiring to be in future. There's so many careers out there, like being a nurse, being a doctor, being a farmer, being a dentist, being a psychologist, being a pulmonologist. Like, what? Okay, let me see. You can also be a banker. You can be an engineer. A teacher is even a profession. So, amongst all these careers I've listed, is engineering my heart calls for? Yeah, I'll say my heart calls for because that's what I want to be. I want to be an engineer. Yeah. But before I continue, I'm going to go and search on Google since a lot of us are fond of using Google. So I'll spare you the time that you waste to go and search on Google who are engineers. So let's go to Google. Google. Okay. Let me see. Engineer. Who is called engineer? An engineer is a person who uses scientific knowledge to design, construct, and maintain engines and machines or structures such as roads, railways, and bridges. Okay, so that's basically who an engineer is and why. And those people are the people that do engineering, machinery, the roads, and all those kind of things. Yeah. Under engineering, there are so many fields. We have a lot of engineers, like different engineers from the various fields. Like an electrical engineer, they deal with the electricals. We have let me see, chemical engineer, petroleum and the rest. We have civil engineer, the buildings. We have sound engineer to enable your sound come out well. We also have a mechanical engineer, aerospace engineer, nuclear engineer, and a bit of robotics engineering and computer engineering. The rest, okay, so amongst all these engineering fields, I choose a specific one, that's civil engineering. A lot of people say engineering per se is not a woman's field. And if we come to civil engineering, there are a lot of hearsays about it. They said if women can't be civil engineers because one, we don't have the heart and all those kind of stuff. Now in modern day Ghana, there's something called gender equality. So I believe women can now become engineers, and then in years to come, women will be dominating the profession. So let's move back to where we are. So civil engineering, those are engineers that are related to the buildings of structures and stuff for humanity. So those people, they build our roads, bridges. Some of them do deal with the boreholes, the water. Like in Ghana here, like this, the water that we have, the pipe-borne water that we take from the water waste company. It's the work of engineers. The electricity that we have, from the Akosombo Dam all the way to our houses. You can be in Bolega and have light and all these things. It is the work of engineers. They help us so that we can get all these things. And then the bridges, like the bridges that we have around us, the roads, they're like the newly created roads that in circle that now they call Accra Dubai. Yeah, those kind of things, they are all done by engineers. Even they build your house to your house, they are all done by engineers. Yes, those are the civil engineers. And the civil engineering, there are specific fields, like we have a plumber. Yes, those are a plumber is an engineer. Those, you have specific people for that, because one person can't do a lot of work, because you can't have two masters at the same time. It's like medicine. It's either you specialize, otherwise you can't be specialized on all fields in medicine. it can be possible, but I won't say it's impossible because there's nothing impossible under the sun. Yes. So we have this thing, drainage system. Those who deal with the drainage systems, we have those who deal with the roads, the bridges, and all those stuff. And then those who deal with the housing. Now, for those who deal with the housing, they are known as building engineers. We also have estate developers also, but building and estate developers, they actually work hand in hand, because if you're an estate developer, you need a building engineer, a building engineer to also help you. Yeah. So some people mistake building engineer for civil engineer, but there are so many aspects of civil engineering. So you have to be specific. If you want to be specific, then it's a building engineer, not basically a civil engineer, because there are lots of engineers out there. Even with building engineers, they even need electrical engineers, and then electrical engineering is even another field on its own. So you see, engineering is very broad and all this thing. Yeah. So that's basically amongst the field under civil engineering. I want to deal under the building engineering. That's building of houses and all this stuff. Building of houses, and if possible, roads and structures. Yeah. So before you can even think of pursuing engineering, you must know that you have to be educated. Education is the key to success. That one there, it's compulsory by force. You have to know it. Like, you have to have education in your mind everywhere you go. Education, education, education. If you want to become a nurse or doctor, whatever you do, you must like education. So in that aspect, to become an engineer, first you have to go through preschool. My brother, my sister, you have to know your A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, contractions of sentences and the rest. You go to your primary school, you go to your junior high school, then you go to your senior secondary school, which I am currently in, so I know I'm halfway through. Yeah. Then you go to your university. You can go to a private university, a public university, or a private school. Like, you can choose. That one doesn't matter. Being in a public school doesn't mean you can't be an engineer. You can also be an engineer. If you're in a private school, you can also be an engineer. So yeah, basically that's it. And then university too, you also have to offer an engineering course. So the engineering that I want to specialize, like me, like this, if I go to university, girls, we are going to, I'll make sure I go and offer civil engineering in school. I can't just go and then offer chemical engineering expecting to become a civil engineer. It's not possible. You can't plant maize to and harvest apples. It's not possible. Like, yeah, it's not possible. So yeah, that's basically the education timeline about being an engineer. And then attitude for being an engineer. You have to be outspoken as an engineer, because one, if you're not outspoken, it's difficult to communicate with your members, like your workers on film. Let's take for instance, let's say you've been you've been made a project manager of a project, and then you go and then there are mistakes around. Now, if you're not someone who's outspoken, how are you going to speak to the people there, as in the foreman, then the head mason, before the laborers and all that? Like, you can't do that. You have to be very outspoken and then be honest and be precise. As an engineer, you can't be come see come sad, because it's not everybody that is going to understand anything you are saying. Like, you have to go straight to the point. You don't have to be hiding around the bushes. And also, as an engineer, you must also be very, 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 very observant. You have to observe structures, because in under engineering, especially civil engineering, there is a saying that one mistake you destroy a lot of lives. As in medicine, there's a saying that one mistake kills one person. By engineering, one mistake you kill 1,000 people. That takes it back to many years when there was this Melcom structure that got broken down and a lot of people had died. And you see, it's structures are very, very key. As an engineer, you must be focused, very observant. You must know that if I mix this amount of cement with this sand, will it help? Will it make this foundation strong? You must know the corners, then the angles at which you should do certain things. Yeah. And then, as an engineer, too, you must not be lazy. You must be a productive person. You must always, like, you should be ready for anything. Like, always be productive. Shouldn't be sitting idle. As an engineer, you can't say idle because the job is a moving job. You have to move up and down. Even though you have people looking in charge of your things, you still have to move up and down. Otherwise, there was always going to be a loss for you. Yeah, and also as an engineer, you must deal with total honesty. Like for an instance, let's say the number of blocks you need for your work, and then you tell the person, "Oh, you don't have money, so you can just bring like 20, so that we use the 20 for the meantime." You must be honest. You must tell the person that you need, let's say, 100. You must use the 100 instead of the 20, because you know that a one mistake can destroy a lot of people. Yeah, so those are the basic attitudes of an engineer. You must always be precise. Now, subject of interest for an engineer. If you want to become an engineer, you must have a lot of subjects of interest. As in, you must have English. Languages also a key. Well, languages are a key thing. But before we go there, let's move to the subjects that you are supposed to be interested in, whether you like it or yes. It's a mandate. It's mathematics. You need mathematics in your life. Like as an engineer, you must be focused. You must know your mathematics, your calculations. You should be sharper than even the calculator. If they say 1 plus 1, you should say 2. You shouldn't be thinking 1 plus 1, nothing like you're thinking of your whole life. No, you should be sharp. You must be accurate, and you must not make a mistake, because as an engineer, one mistake, Charlie, plenty people are going to die. They're just going to die. So you have to be focused and then know what you are about. And as an engineer too, you must like physics. Like physics is the key. Physics is mostly like the key subject for you, because there are lots of principles that I'm sure you'll be using. For example, you'll be using a lot of principles like Archimedes principles, laws of rotation, Newton's law, like all those kind of laws. You'll be using them, so you need a lot of physics in your life. So as an engineer, you must take your physics and your math very seriously, very very serious. And also, as an engineer, you must be a multilingual. Like you should know like a lot of languages. Like it is going to help you in your field, because you are going to meet a lot of people. There are a lot of people out there that do not understand English, which is an official language. And then some understand a lot of local languages, so you should be able to speak maybe in Ghana, like you should be able to speak your local language, which is three, that I know about 90% of the population understand it. And if you come international wise, you should know how to speak a very, very, very good and fluent English. And then you should also know how to speak French. It's not a mandate that you should learn it, but it's going to be a plus on your side, because if you know how to speak French like this, if you get an opportunity to go to a French speaking country, you'll be able to communicate with the people out there, because there are certain people, let's say for in quotes illiterates, who are working as laborers and stuff. They don't understand English or anything. Let's say they understand French, you can't go and speak English with them. Like, Charlie, how would they understand? You have to be able to manage. And there are certain documents you be signing to, so you should be able to read and write in most languages. Yes, you should be a multilingual. You should be ready to learn any language at any time, because the languages are going to help you communicate, so that it make your work very efficient. So that's basically like the basic things an engineer should do, like should know, and all this kind of stuff. You should know all these things. Like it's supposed to be a mandate for you as an engineer. Especially the subject for especially physics. It's a difficult subject, but if you concentrate and then you have your mind on it, you know. I have a lot of